everybody. That's right. Tomorrow's August. My goodness. You know, it seemed like things were back to normal with Deadpool and Wolverine. But right afterwards, it's a little slow. However, it's going to be nuts next weekend with D23. I've already heard of some cool stuff that they're going to be debuting. Disney is coming to play. So enjoy this little break. And then starting Friday, August 9th in the evening, it'll just be a ton of news, and I'm going to be working through the weekend. So that's exciting. But thank you, Art Lover. But we have some interesting stories to discuss today, some Disney challengers. And so I was able to put together, I think, a pretty good live stream. We're having it a little bit earlier today. Thank you, Ben. We're having it a little bit earlier today because I had gotten a request from one of you in Asia. I hope that you were able to join. That said sometimes the later streams were too difficult for that time zone. So they said that around 2:30 would be ideal. So, oh, Ben, happy birthday. That's so sweet of you to give others a gift on your birthday. Oh, Vladimir says it ain't too bad for those of you in Europe as well. That's excellent. And it's the summer, so for those of you in North America, in this time zone, it's not so bad either. All right, so yeah, it's fun to switch up the times a little bit so that different people can participate. Also, by the way, if you're a BTT Inside Access member, there is a special private Q&A just for you today at 5:30. So if you're interested in joining at that level or upgrading, you would be able to participate. Lisa, so generous of you. Thank you so much. It's 4:30 in Australia, Liam. Is that 4:30 a.m. or p.m.? I would guess a.m., right? Thanks for being up. All right, Glubby, I'm glad you're going to be joining the live stream later. But let's get to this one that we're having right now. All right, so we've got 3 excellent stories. We'll be going over the 3 stories. You can ask questions and comments at the end of each section. And then, as always, at the very end of the stream, I'll do a 10-minute Q&A and some shout-outs. And then we'll have another live stream tomorrow. All right, here. And also, I have a fun Batman Cape Crusader video that I'm working on. Although nobody seems to care about that show, which is a little frustrating. But I'm still putting a lot of effort into this other video, the spoiler video. But I don't know why do you think people don't like animation? You know, like it's very hard for it to move the needle. X-Men 97 did. But no one ever cared about Star Wars The Bad Batch, even though it was an excellent show. Look, Denzel cares. It was tough. It's tough, you know. Harley Quinn, wonderful show. The animated series Harley Quinn. Ain't nobody care. Ain't nobody care about that show, which is sad to me because I like it so much. Teeter says it's too much Batman. Never! There's never too much Batman. You can't have too much Batman. Thanks, Doc Hayes. Oh, thank you, Julio. Thank you for gifting those memberships. I'm glad you liked my Batman video, Doc Hayes. I hope you like tomorrow's. It's a spoiler video, but my regular review is up right now. All 10 episodes of Batman Cape Crusader drop at 3 a.m. tonight, 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, midnight Pacific, on Prime Video. Don't go over to Max being like, where's the new show? Because Zazie sold it to Prime Video. All right, okay, here we go. All right, story number 1. Boop. Okay, Epic Universe. I'm getting the hang of all these photos. So I've uploaded yet another graphic. Hold on, you can see it in all its glory. I'll be right back. Hey, Writer Boy, thank you. Ooh, where's my arrow? Ooh, exciting. All right, so this is Epic Universe. Epic Universe opens in 2025, very early 2025. And they have detailed all the lands now, and the last one was this one, Wizarding World of Harry Potter. I'll give you a quick thoughts on each of the lands. First of all, I really want to go here. I want to stay here at this hotel because I suspect that this hotel would include front-of-the-line passes with the room. So thank you, because they're extremely expensive at Universal. They're like over $100 a person, so per day. So no thank you. I will stay at the hotel to get the pass. So anyway, Celestial Park is like the middle area, which I think looks pretty cool. There's a rumor going around that you would have to buy a pass to each land. And that's why Celestial Park in the middle is so big. so that you can hang out here and be like, wee, and then just go into one of these lands, which is very aggressive. So we'll see if that's true. I'm excited for Super Nintendo World just because I want to eat at Toadstool Cafe. I'm not into Nintendo, as many of you know. That's right, Danny. Robert Downey Jr. can afford the front of the line pass all that he wants, although I'm sure he would ask for it for complimentary anyway. He should buy front of the line pass. It's for everybody, but it's the wrong studio. Anyway, Isle of Berk, this How to Train Your Dragon, that is for the wee kiddies. So I don't really see myself going in there very much. Dark Universe, I will go and live here. We already talked about that actually on the live stream because we liked it so much. It was a real game changer. And now also today we're going to talk about Harry Potter because I also think it's wonderful. It's not only wonderful, but shots fired at the mouse. Oh, it's so aggressive. Universal is so aggressive. All right, so we're talking about the final land. By the way, this of course is this is the big play that hold on, where is it? This is Universal's attempt to get you to go to their theme parks as a solo destination. Right now, for the most part, people put all the parks together, right? Like you go and you're like, I'm going to Orlando, and I'm going to go to Disney World, Universal, and maybe SeaWorld and Busch Gardens, right? Or I think the way a lot of people do it, like my own family, is that you go to Disney World and you tack on 1 or 2 days at Universal. I got to tell you, Universal is pretty good, very different park. Still not the last time I was there at the level of the immersive experience that Disney has. And I think their hotels up until now have needed a lot of work. Although I have high hopes for this Helios hotel. I have another problem with Universal, and I'll just say it right now. I think they're a little bit too thrill ride reliant. Almost all of their attractions whip you around and everything like that. And I have some family members who cannot do that. So it would be difficult for me to go to Universal as a full vacation because I think that there are members of my family who cannot ride. Shahar agrees with me, who can only ride about maybe 10 to 20% of the attractions. And the lines are so long, what the heck are those family members going to do while the rest of us try to go on the roller coasters? So that, I think, is what makes it very, very difficult. Epic Universe is fun and exciting, but it really it doesn't have Disney World. And in my opinion, the Disney theme parks are still very much for everybody. Whereas I think Epic Universe is really a theme park. Like Luis says, his dad's 82. What's his dad gonna do at this park? Sit on a bench? I mean, that's basically it. And that's Shahar says that they have little kids, and that would also be an issue because they're just not tall enough to ride the attractions. So it's a bit of an issue. All right. But this does look very cool. Platinum Diva likes it. I do like it. I will definitely go here, but I'm not sure for how long. And I do have a major concern about the attractions because I just don't want to do that to what's not a very nice thing to do to my family members. They're supposed to have a nice time, and what kind of a vacation is that? But let's talk about Harry Potter. I like a themed cafe too, Mika, and they have the themed cafes to end. I didn't think you could do as good a job as the Dark Universe, the Monsters Land, but this is incredible. All right, so this is the final land. Not only, as you can see, is it spotlighting Harry Potter, but they're also trying to really play up Fantastic Beasts. Even though those movies were not great, I prefer Dumbledore in them. I was like, why is Dumbledore the B storyline? He should be the A storyline. And they're trying to push Eddie Redmayne, and I'm like, nobody liked Eddie Redmayne in those movies, man. But they're trying very much to finally to bring those in, and I'm like, they're going to retell all these stories apparently with this new series that they're going to do, which I still have mixed feelings on. But let's see, I'd rather totally new continued stories. But whatever. Oh look, Dory liked Newt. I'm glad some of you liked Newt. All right, so this takes place in 1920s Paris. Ooh, pictures. Pictures. Let me move myself over. Where is this? Where's my video? Boop. Okay. All right, so here we are in 1920s Paris. They've actually built a little section of Paris, which I think is pretty incredible. But what also is aggressive about this is you might recall that recently at Epcot, they expanded the French Pavilion to have a whole back area that looks very similar to this, where they put Ratatouille, the Ratatouille adventure ride. So the fact that now Universal has their own French section, is aggressive against Disney because that was supposed to be a big selling point. And I have to tell you, this is quite impressive. So here's the entrance. You can see everybody's like, ooh la la. So let me get my arrow. So you've got the outdoor part of the cafe here, and we'll look at that. Yeah, that's right, Adam Sphere. The crepes in Epcot are awful. I had a beautiful table overlooking the river back there, and I got a table, and I had my family member hold it, and I ran and got some crepes, stood next to a couple who were arguing online. I'll never forget it. I felt so bad for the woman. The guy was being such a jerk, and she was like, why can't we just have a nice time? And he's like, I don't like it here. And she's like, I just brought you so I wouldn't have to go by myself. And I felt so bad for her. I will forever remember that interaction on the crepe line. I felt really bad for her. Let me tell everybody, you should get comfortable going places and doing things by yourself. Don't ever be reliant on somebody else for you to have a nice time. I think obviously you want to have other people around you, but sometimes you can just enjoy those things for yourself. And I just, I felt really bad for that woman. Platinum Diva knows how to party. I love it. All right, so anyway, yes, but the crepe was not very good. All right, so let's take a look at some of these things that they have. So the first thing, though, what do I have next? Yes, the stage show. So you see right there in the middle, that's the circus tent that they had in the movies. That's supposed to take you through a portal. Well, it actually just probably takes you to the buildings back there. And it's the first stage show that they've done for Harry Potter. I love Epcot too, Shahar. I'm a big Epcot fan. In many ways, it's my favorite park, particularly World Showcase. But anyway, that's right, Man on the Moon. You remembered my Warner Brothers store story. And I went to the store by myself, and I had a great time. All right. So, that's funny. Who said that? Dory does that. I would definitely go to Disney alone. I've had business trips. Side note. I've had business trips where I've gone to VidCon and then also WonderCon that are in Anaheim. And since I was there by myself for work, sometimes I would go with colleagues, but sometimes I would go into the park by myself. And I got to tell you, it's very fun. It's a different experience. And so I think everybody should try it once or twice. It's really cool. You can do whatever you want. You can people watch. And it's really actually a lot of fun. And also, I struck up a conversation a couple of times with other people who were there by themselves. I believe there was one woman there who was from Japan, and we were like, how you doing? I'm having a good time. Are you having a good time too? So that was nice. And so I think there's just you can have, it's a very unique experience. And so if you're finding yourself near a theme park and it's just you should totally go yourself. It's a different kind of experience, and it's fun to do. All right, so anyway, let's see here. Jose, I'm glad you worked it out there. I think that's nice. Okay, all right, so here you can see this stage show. It's going to be a magic stage show and feature magical animals, just like in Fantastic Beasts. I have one of my family members loves stage shows, so I think this is really nice. That looks great to me. I'm very impressed with that. Then also, just you can see the way they've built out the European setting. There's a little cart that sells butterbeer or bird, like something, de beurre, right? And I'm like, beurre, that's French for butter, man. I love it. So there they are. There's a little tree-lined street, lots of little shopping options. I'm sure some of the storefronts are, of course, faux, because it's actually a ride building. Then here, look at this. This is their wand store. Whereas you can see it's very Coco Chanel, although of course Coco Chanel has a complicated past. But let's just say very French fashion. Let's put it that way instead. You can see there the proprietor. I think this is a nice twist on it, and I think it's a different way. French fashion versus like London tailoring, stuff like that. I think it's cute. Then. Look at that restaurant. This is a fast food service, counter service restaurant. It's a cafe where you can eat inside or outside. That is incredible. As nice as the new French pavilion is, the expansion at Epcot, they don't have anything that looks that authentic. That to me is just really, really incredible. Hats off to the Universal development team, because that looks like you could think that was in France. That's right, Platinum Diva. I mean, it's just incredible. Good luck getting a table in there, but you can do it. I think, sometimes at these theme parks, you're not allowed to take a table until you have your food, and I think that might be one of the things they might need to enforce here. All right, then here, this hasn't been making the rounds as much. I think it's Le Goblet Noir, and this is like a restaurant, like a fun restaurant, like where villains are like, not so, Slytherin basically. Hey, I'll go there, where Slytherin hangs out. And that looks really cool as well. And that reminds me a little bit of what they're doing with Dark Universe, but I think it's really nice. I have to say, this is a way to incorporate drinking into the parks, which doesn't seem quite as crass and totally driven by profits as Disney is doing. This is a way, you create spaces. I don't think they really so much sell the drinks. I think I've seen a couple of people, because Disney has developed a little bit of a drinking problem at their parks, particularly at Epcot. And you're hearing more and more stories about people who've been overserved. And some people had suggested that perhaps the best way to combat that would only be to serve alcohol at sit-down restaurants. And I thought that was a good solution, potentially. I mean, the markup on alcohol, I used to do comedy, so I would talk to people who worked at restaurants and bars a lot, and the markup on alcohol is like ridiculous, like 4 to 5 times. And so the profit margin is just incredible, and it really, it's such a big revenue driver that I don't know if you could ever convince anybody to not have it. But I think, the way that they handle it, I think could be maybe a good way to go. Let's see here. Okay, then here, look at this. This deserves to go full screen. Oh, it's so beautiful. Look at that. This is the Ministry of Magic. And yes, that is Dolores Umbridge, aka Imelda Staunton, as the big bad of this ride. Isn't that incredible? Look at that. She just played the queen on The Crown. She's the big villain. I just get a big kick out of that. I think that's awesome. So you come in through here. My arrow is turned around. There it is. All right, so you come in through here. How did that happen? All right. So, there we go. All right, so you come in through here, and they have created some kind of portal effect that really makes you feel like you're surrounded by green flames. And so you go from Paris to London, because this is the British Ministry of Magic. And they said it's a life-size replica of the actual sets that they filmed in. And you can see these people are already getting online. I like how they drew it. It's not that bad. If you've ever been to Universal, you know that the lines are absolutely absurd. So this would actually just be like, people. Wait time, 4 hours. And you're like, holy crap, is there a front of the line thing on this? Okay, that's why it's important to try and stay at one of the hotels where it's included. Now, this isn't a roller coaster, Atmosphere. Here's where it gets even more interesting. So, some people are calling this Harry Potter and the Tower of Terror, because it's not, this is all, Dreads, this is going to be all in Orlando. This is what it looks like inside, and they're calling it a lift, because it's British. That's the British word for elevator. Just like, I think it's funny that the green fireplaces are called the Metro Flue, because like a flue is British for chimney, kind of, I think, to some degree, right? The flue, or it's a part of a chimney. So I think that's kind of funny. But anyway, they're like, oh, it's a lift. And everybody, understandably, is like, do you mean like Tower of Terror? Like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, that's aggressive. Disney's like, what the what? And not only that, not only do you have like a Tower of Terror type situation, although now, of course, that's also the Guardians of the Galaxy ride in California. But you can see right here a Dementor animatronic. Animatronics used to be the calling card of Disney. Disney invented them, and they have done considerably good work with them. Although apparently the Star Wars Kylo Ren animatronic breaks down like nobody's business. Also, I've heard that the Tiana to animatronics are breaking down a lot on the new Splash Mountain Redux. So, is that a Death Eater? Thank you, Remy. So the fact that Universal has built their own animatronics is just very, very aggressive. And once Disney loses the monopoly on animatronics, I think that they have a real issue. If some other group is able to provide that kind of experience, I think it's problematic for them. But yes, as you can see, these are the load areas. And now in the Disney park, the elevator goes up, then it comes off the track, goes forward and gets into a new track, and then goes up and down and up and down and up and down. This one apparently, I wonder what kind of a track it's going to be on, or if it's going to be like on one of those like bars, those mechanical arms, and it's going to move around in that way. This isn't in Texas, Kiki. This is going to be in Orlando, which is also very hot. And these are indoor attractions, so I'm sure they're heavily air conditioned. But it is very similar to Tower of Terror. Is that the last slide? Yeah. So let me give you a good big look at it again. I think it looks great. The one in Texas is for little kids. But that looks really great. I think it looks really, really good. And maybe this makes me feel this wouldn't be too much of a whiplash situation, so that maybe some of my other family members can go on this. But I am nervous about it. I'm like, you got to stop whipping everybody around. So let's go back to the overall map here. Okay. As I said, I feel that this is an extremely exciting park. I am concerned about the lack of family rides for younger kids, older adults, and also people who have sensitivities who can't ride those attractions. People of all ages have issues with, their back potentially, their neck. It's tough with thrill rides. So that's the only thing that I could think would be an issue. I never got my own wand, Doc Hayes, because while I like Harry Potter, I don't love it enough to pay for a wand. The wand's pretty expensive. And also, a long time ago, I decided, after I had my horrible mold situation and I lost all my belongings, that I became very immaterial, and I don't really collect that much stuff anymore. I have to really, really want it. So I don't have a wand, but I do have a bunch of Slytherin stuff. I have a Slytherin shirt. I have a Slytherin umbrella. I had a Slytherin pen. I don't know what happened to it. I do like Slytherin, and obviously I got to support my house. Slytherin, Slytherin. I'll be cheering them on the Quidditch stadium. So yes, maybe I'll get a wand. I don't have the scarf, Dancing Dog 60. Last time I went to the store, I didn't like the scarf very much. I was like, I think it could be better, so I'll wait. Maybe I'll get a wand. You guys are making me feel I should get a wand. You guys should work for the Universal sales team. I'm like, okay, I'll get a wand. They're like really expensive. They're like, I think, like, how much are they? Let me see. I didn't build a lightsaber either, to be fair. How much is a wand at Harry Potter World? They're telling me how much it costs in the universe. 7 galleons. How much does it cost an American? $60. Okay. But they're very nice, and it is a whole experience. Thank you, Tom. So I think if you're really into Harry Potter, like if it was a batarang or a Batman utility belt, I might get it. Or like I have my X-Men jacket, as you know, although that was given to me for free. And then they discontinued it by the time I got to wear it. Life's hard. But anyway, but yeah. But I think this looks good. I think I'm very impressed. And the question is, can it really compete with Disney? Will there be people who only go to Orlando just to stay at Epic Universe? Let's see what the hotel looks like. They haven't talked about the hotel yet. Doc Hayes says it's a stick. I think doesn't it come in a nice box and have like some detail work on it, and then you can wave it around. And I think at the theme park it interacts with stuff, right? Isn't it like your Magic Band? You can walk up and it's $150 for the lightsaber, Platinum Diva? Does it light up? That's a lot. All right. So anyway, I don't know. If it really lit up, I would be excited about it. Atmosphere, the Star Wars Hotel, has gone out of business because it was too expensive. I always felt the Star Wars Hotel should not have been something that was a closed-off experience. If they had just made a regular hotel that had a pool, and you could go outside, and you could go to the other parks, and it was just Star Wars themed, just like the Polynesian Hotel is themed for Polynesia, I think that hotel would have done quite well. I probably would have made it a moderate, mid-range hotel, and I think it would have done great. Hey, Yaya. Wiki Nomad says, now this upsets me. Warner Brothers making the books. There's going to be a loss of synchronicity. Oh. Well, Umbridge, they can easily switch the graphics, I'm sure, on this to put in a different actress as Umbridge if they need to. So we'll see what they decide to do. But yeah, so I'm curious to see what happens here. I wonder if it really can be a challenge. And I think it'll be curious to see how Disney responds to this. Disney does have some cool things coming up. I do agree that they have a bad habit of reskinning rides instead of building new ones. And I think, they are a little bit slower. They have done some amazing builds overseas, and they've been having problems politically, both in California and in Florida. Now those hurdles have been overcome, and there's even rumors that they might be building a fifth park in Orlando. And that would be really exciting. I want them to stop reskinning stuff, but I want the stuff to turn out better than, than Star Wars Land. That didn't turn out to me. Although I will agree, Adam Sphere, that the Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster is nuts. I've never been on a ride like that. And it's really incredible. That's right, Garnet Fire. Next weekend, they're having a whole Disney theme park panel on Saturday at 10 o'clock at night. And I'll definitely be covering that as well. That's going to be exciting stuff. They should have some really big news there. But anyway, also, I feel when they build their attraction expansions, I would like it if it had more than one ride. I get annoyed when they're like, oh, a new land, and there's one ride in it. They have this formula. They're like a ride, a restaurant, and a store. And you're like, 2 rides? And they're like, no. And you're like, meh. All right, does anybody have any questions or comments about this story? Wow, we spent a lot of time on this. I like theme parks. Shahar said they need to bring back the 3-park tickets to Florida residents. They need to bring back, I think, Fast Pass. I think that the pay for rides a la carte is pretty bad. I think that's honestly what's really hurting the Disney theme park experience. Wiki Nomad, that's right. The classics are still the best. A Small World, Peter Pan's Flight, those are the best. Nick Doss said, will Wicked join these parks if it's successful? I'm sure it will. But obviously they're going to wait and see how it does. But I mean, it's just perfect for this. Tyler Rod, I don't know about bringing back half-day tickets. I think that would be, the parks are already too crowded. I think that's the real issue. Dan, it would be great if they got the UK park that everybody's been talking about. It would be really cool. Liam says, best Disney park is Japan. I really want to go there someday. I really do. I believe it. From what I've seen, it's incredible. It's so clean. They have such cool food and souvenirs. I mean, it seems next level. I wish that the other Disney theme parks would aspire to that level. Cat Shack, I'm a theme park nerd myself. Let's see here. Elliot says, I'm going to Disneyland for my sister's 24th birthday next month on the 13th. She hasn't been to Disneyland Park in 14 years. Oh, that's going to be so magical. Make sure you get the front of the line pass. I know it sucks, but I think you're not going to have a good time. I mean, it is going to be September, so it shouldn't be too bad. But it gets pretty crowded. Dory Does Voices says, Grace, what do you think of a Wonka addition to the park? Could be a Hershey Park-like experience. Hershey Park is more of a local park that I've been to when I was growing up. It's very cozy. Wonka could be a lot of fun. But that's Warner Brothers. They would have to license it as well. Warner Brothers has so much great IP for a theme park. DC, Willy Wonka, now Barbie, Mortal Kombat, Harry Potter, which they licensed to Universal. I mean, if Warner Brothers isn't going to build a park, there's always the rumor that I've told you that Universal could acquire Warner Brothers, the film division, and then, that would be amazing. They could build a whole nother park. And they have enough land, by the way. That's right, Dune, Adam Sphere. They could build Dune. And in fact, Universal has enough land that they've already purchased, in addition to this, to build an entire new park as well. Game of Thrones! Oh my God, Man on the Moon, that's right! Oh, I would love it so much. Man, that would do extremely well. That's nuts. Garnet Fire says, Grace, if I could only visit one theme park in my life, what should it be? Easy, Magic Kingdom. I mean, honestly, the first Disneyland in Anaheim, the first one. That's the first theme park. It's a wonderful experience to this day. It's the one that started it all, where Walt Disney came up with the idea of a place that kids and parents can hang out together. I think it's a very nice attraction. It's a very nice ride. Very nice theme park. Although, if you can go to more than one, I would go to Orlando because they just have so much stuff together. All right. George Harrison says, I'm aware I'm in the minority, but Hollywood Studios is my favorite in Orlando. Oh, it's hard. It's hard to pick. I still think Magic Kingdom is my favorite just because it's a classic. But then for me, it would go Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom. All right, we'll do a poll. Even though Universal's like, wasn't this a story about my park? And we're like, but let's talk about what's your favorite Disney theme park. It always goes back to Disney. Disney's like, sorry, we're the classic. I'm going to do them in the order that they opened, which just happens to actually be how much I like them the best. Although I don't like how they're changing Epcot. I haven't been to the new Epcot just yet, so I'm a little nervous about it. Hollywood Studios. Oh, no, is that what? Yeah, that's what it's called now. And then Animal Kingdom. I have to tell you, these parks used to all have very different personas, but they're going away, and they're all just becoming IP spaces. And so I do wonder what potentially the fourth park would be, and what would be its personality. Shahar says, same, I'm scared. Spaceship Earth is my absolutely favorite ride. It's very cozy. I fall asleep on it a lot, to be honest with you, but it's an incredible ride. And I think what they've done to Future World is they just kind of seem to have turned it into a mall, and I'm a little nervous about that. Raphael, Euro Disney is really nice as well. I've been there. Thanks, Max. Superbia is the comic book that I wrote. I'll just give it a minute to vote. All right. Not a lot of strong opinions on this. And then we'll go to the next story of the day. Okay. Wiki Nomad, I hope you go to Disney World someday. It's a really fun trip. All right. Closing the poll. All right, there you go. 46% Magic Kingdom, almost 50%. 23% Epcot, 20% Hollywood Studios, very close. And then only 9% Animal Kingdom. You know, the Pandora Land is excellent there, but they still, I think that Animal Kingdom, they're thinking of adding Indiana Jones and Encanto to, and Coco to Animal Kingdom, and I think that would help that park substantially. All right, I'm excited to see what they announce a week from Saturday. All right, let's go on to the next story of the day, as we spent half an hour on the theme park stuff. All right. Boop. Okay, Skeleton Crew. This is the next Disney Plus show, which has the unfortunate positioning of following The Acolyte. And I think a lot of people are going to go into this very skeptical because they're like, I'm not falling for this again. I mean, I really defended The Acolyte, and I told you I got burned pretty bad. So I don't really know how I feel about this. I'll definitely review it. I don't think this seems like something I would cover week to week, though. But let's look at some of the pictures. All right, where'd it go? All right, here we go. Skeleton Crew. This starts on December 3rd, and this was the look that we, of course, had gotten at Star Wars Celebration beforehand. Jude Law is the big name that's starring in it. Again, it starts December 3rd on Disney+. And when we see these pictures, it's clearly a little kids show, which I think is, I think it's going to be like Percy Jackson. Maybe it'll be popular. I mean, I don't think it looks very good, to be honest with you. Like, do I want to hate on it and make 20,000 videos about how it's not good? Of course not. However, maybe it's like Goonies. I mean, we had been told it was like Stranger Things, but it seems very Goonies to me. And some people really like the Goonies, so maybe this could work. Maybe, it might work. It doesn't look very Goonies-like to me, though, I must say. I mean, the styling kind of does, but I think that the kids don't look particularly Goonies-coded. So I think that could be an issue. I will say that he looks kind of Fagin-y to me. You know, like Fagin from, what is that, Oliver Twist, right? Right? Looks like this guy corralling a bunch of kids. Well, although now you'd be very suspicious of that. You'd be like, why are you hanging out with a bunch of kids, man? You know, so let's see. So this is one picture of it. I think that this little elephant kid has the most potential. And that character is named Neil. So that's kind of interesting. All right. I'm surprised they made, is that like a kid actually wear that? Okay. So yeah, Dumbo in Star Wars, Dan. That's pretty funny. Now, interestingly, they have them on hover bikes. You know, of course, bicycles are an iconic part of a lot of 80s kids storytelling. E.T., Goonies, then of course Stranger Things picked up on that. But because this is Star Wars, these kids ride, hover bikes. So you're like, okay, maybe, I don't know. It's not actually Dumbo, Fadagan, but it looks like Dumbo. Oh yeah, Spy Kids, Isaac Lopez. It looks a little Spy Kidsy. I mean, I gotta tell you, if I were a kid, when I was a kid, I wouldn't have watched this, even as a child, because it just, it doesn't have, my parents let me watch shows for adults and stuff like that. I mean, like, think about like E.T. E.T. features kids, but it doesn't seem like kids' content, right? That's, I think, what I prefer. I've never been much of a fan for things that, are specifically aimed at kids. Because, even as a kid, I didn't like being talked down to. I was like, I don't like this. What are you talking about? I'm not very excited about it, Jay. I don't think it looks particularly good. And then here's another. This is the droid of the show over there on the left, droid SM33, and voiced by Nick Frost. So basically, the setup for this show is that these kids get lost in a galaxy, and they're trying to find their way home. Okay? It is very Spielbergy with these lights, right? They're like, look at the beams of light. And I'm like, I do like beams of light. Ricardo says it looks kind of Disney Channel. Well, if it was Disney Channel, it would be like on a set, like on a studio set. I mean, this at least looks like it's been filmed somewhere. And then next, let's see here. And then here, you can see some stuff with them kind of hanging out here. All right. So, John Watts, who did the Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland, they were excellent, and he is one of the creators on this show. So I want to have faith in him. He was also doing the upcoming Wolves movie with George Clooney and Brad Pitt. But again, as I said, I think that I would obviously review this show, and I might do a spoiler review when it was over, but I don't know if this looks like the kind of show that you would do a week-to-week breakdown of. And I certainly would, I hope that the contingent of people who are anti-Star Wars don't spend hours and hours of their time tearing down these poor little kids. I would hope that people are, nicer than that. So let me do a poll about what you guys think of how it looks. And then I'll show you the pictures again while you vote. Hey, Mr. Magic. It looks great. Cool for kids, not for me. And then I'm not interested. Oh no, I guess it doesn't look good. Yeah, I think that's enough choices. Okay, so while you vote on that, anyone can vote. Let me show you the pictures a little bit bigger. We'll start from the beginning. Alrighty, so there's Jude Law. Exclusive, people. So there's Jude Law, and he's got those kids behind him. Then here we are, a little closer look. All right. Does that little elephant have hair? That's pretty adorable. He does. I kind of like Neil. Okay. Yeah, Fadagan, I think you're right. I bet you they do show a trailer for this at D23. Here's the speeder bikes. This is the photo that actually I feel has the most cringe because it just doesn't look real to me. It looks like, hey, do you want to take your photo at the theme park with the background and we'll put you in Star Wars? It looks like that's what it looks like to me. Then here's this thing with the robot voiced by Nick Frost. Yeah, you know. And then here they are walking around with their look, that bike even, what the heck? That space bike even has streamers on the handlebars. This one too. Why would they have streamers? That's trying too hard in my opinion. All right. All right, let me close the poll. Okay, so 51% of you are very gracious, and you're saying, it looks like it's for kids, not for me, but enjoy, little kids. 26% of you feel it does not look good, and 21% of you think it looks great. All right, so about 20% of you want to watch it. So that's not great, but I just hope people aren't really mean to it, because it stars kids. I mean, come on. Don't be mean. Don't be mean to the show with the kids. All right, so hold on. Let me move my stuff back, my little video thing back, and then we can talk about Maya Rudolph. All right. All right. Hey, Dolly Parton. All righty. Boom, baby. Maya Rudolph. It has been confirmed that Maya Rudolph is returning to Saturday Night Live to such a degree. She's going to be doing so many sketches that the report is that season 3 of Loot, for which she is Emmy nominated, has been delayed. They were supposed to start filming at the end of this month. Travis says, I have to see a trailer, Grace. Hard to judge anything off of still photos. That's fair, Travis. Let's see what it looks like when we see a trailer. But anyway, Loot was supposed to start filming its 3rd season at the end of the month. It's a show on Apple TV. I watched the 1st season and I liked it quite a bit, but I didn't go back for the 2nd season, although I was happy to see Maya Rudolph Emmy nominated for the show. But they actually have the show on indefinite hold because Maya Rudolph had to clear her schedule to come back and play Kamala Harris for the new season of Saturday Night Live. That to me is very interesting. All right, so my favorite Kamala Harris moment that Maya Rudolph did was this one with the drink. I thought that was really funny. It's very important what comedian plays you on Saturday Night Live. I could have gone through the whole history of it, but I think that just to be a little bit fair in terms of the political parties, another interesting example is Will Ferrell when he did how'd that get so big? What's happening with this? When he was George, oh, there it is. When he was George W. Bush. Now, he was extremely popular with this impression, and he even actually ended up doing a Broadway one-man show as the character. And he actually said he regretted that he was so positive about in his portrayal, but it has been, he was extremely popular with this work that he did. And, a lot of people have commented on the fact that he helped the likability ratings of George W. Bush. Okay? So I wanted to put that in there to show you that it's very important which comedian plays the character and what the spin is. I think it is a factor. Hey, Juan, thank you. Also, though, while there have been a lot of male comedians, although, of course, Melissa McCarthy was very funny when she came on and played Sean Spicer, and then that started a trend of having female comedians play male political figures. Alec Baldwin won't come back, Cosmics, for multiple reasons, but also because Saturday Night Live has an excellent Trump impersonator on their cast full-time. But anyway, it's not often an opportunity for female comedians that they get to have. I think some of the most famous examples are obviously Amy Poehler and then Kate McKinnon as Hillary Clinton. But, Tina Fey got a huge career boost to Sarah Palin. Really, really a big deal. And that became, sometimes SNL comedians are more well-known as these personas than the people themselves. So this is a very big deal, not only for Kamala Harris, but also for Maya Rudolph. I also want to point out that Maya Rudolph right now has her Beyonce impression. I recently rewatched this yet again when she was on Hot Ones. She redid it. She did a new one when she was recently on SNL again. Still not as good as this one. This was the best one that she originally did. It was such a funny sketch, and she did Beyonce. So it's from a couple of years ago actually, surprisingly long ago. But it has millions and millions of views. And so I think that, but I also think that kind of added to the image of Beyonce. Not that Beyonce needs any help, but I think it does help Beyonce, it adds a different dimension to her celebrity persona. And so Kamala Harris, I think this can only help, the way this gag is done, with the drink and the sunglasses. I think it could be extremely beneficial to Kamala Harris. And I think Maya Rudolph I think they have to be careful not to make it look like they're pushing too hard, and they don't want to seem like they're just doing, that's a good way to put it, Lisa, that the impressions humanize them. That's perfect, because, these politicians have to have their guard up, because they are very serious figures talking about very serious stuff. But then everybody knows that when they're on an SNL being portrayed, that they're in funny situations, and the character's allowed to let loose in a way that the actual figures couldn't. So yeah, I totally agree with Lisa. It humanizes them, and I agree with Ricardo that it adds a lot of likability. And you saw that for George W. Bush. That was huge for him with Will Ferrell. And so Mystic says that Kamala is not serious. She can be very serious. She obviously likes to have a good time, and I think that's helping her with social media. But, I think that I don't know, I think that Maya Rudolph creates this almost legendary quality about her. Kamala Harris can't do this gag with the drink and the sunglasses, but Maya Rudolph can. And I'm sure you'll see Kamala Harris next to Maya Rudolph at SNL at some point. Probably maybe even, I would say, the season opener, if I had to guess. I think that's very likely. And then also, of course, we'll see who she picks as a VP and who will be playing that character on Saturday Night Live. And I wonder who's going to be doing J.D. Vance, because, that stuff basically writes itself. So, that even could be considered low-hanging fruit at this point. But I'll be curious to see who they decide to go with on the show. All right, but I think this is great for Kamala Harris, and I think it's really good for Maya Rudolph. And I think that, the only thing that Maya Rudolph and SNL have to be careful of is they have to seem like they're not just promoting. It has to seem like they're still taking kind of some semi-impartial stance. See here. Dreads, a couple of people have played Biden. Jim Carrey, Jason Sudeikis. At some points, it was just a member of the cast. They'll probably if I had to guess, they'll probably get a celebrity to play Biden. Sometimes they get a celebrity to step in for just one sketch. So we'll see what they decide to do. Atomsphere, Saturday Night Live is on NBC or Peacock for those of you who only have streaming services. Does anybody have any questions or comments about this story? Man on the Moon, I have been to SNL. I went once. It was a lot of fun. I knew somebody who was a page, and so they got me a nice seat. And I was allowed to bring a guest. I had a good time. Ethan says that this is almost totally PR, that SNL softballs the Democratic Party. I think they were pretty tough on Bill Clinton, And I have to tell you, after you can see how everybody went after Joe Biden, there's nothing softball about that. But I do think they have to be a little bit careful about that. I don't think, you want to seem like you're somewhat impartial. All right. I don't think anybody has too many comments about this. All right, so let's move on to the Q&A. All righty. Well, Dancing Dog 60 points out that they were soft on Reagan. They were soft on everybody back then. I mean, remember their gag about Gerald Ford was that he just fell down all the time? You know, I think that SNL was not quite into politics the way that they are today. All right. It is 3:28. You can ask me anything you would like until 3:38. Top 3 Matt Damon movies. Well, one would have to definitely be The Departed. I love that movie, and I recently rewatched it. It was excellent. What else? Let me see. I liked his Ford v Ferrari for sure. So, and Air. He was great in Air. I liked Air. And obviously the first Bourne movie as well. And Ocean's 11. What a resume. All excellent films. Okay. Oh yeah, The Martian, Sabian. That's definitely on my list. I love The Martian. What a good movie. Jacob Knight says, Grace, who's your favorite Harry Potter character? Snape. Fellow Slytherin! That's funny, Dancing Dog 60. Is the Elephant Kid Max Rebo's nephew, maybe? Because Max Rebo, of course, isn't he that character who plays at Cosmic Rays in the food place? That would be hilarious. Platinum Diva says, what movies are you the most looking forward to in the fall? I'm very excited about Gladiator 2 and Wicked and Moana 2. I'm excited for Beetlejuice and Joker. A lot of sequels, a lot of second films. So those all look very good to me. I'm excited about that. And I'm excited about Alien Romulus. You know, Deadpool and Wolverine got things going again, and I'm eager to keep that ball rolling. Tenerife, I did see the Fantastic Four trailer footage, and we talked about it yesterday. Whelm says, do politicians and celebs have to pre-approve sketch jokes that involve their impersonations on SNL? Heck no. Do you think Trump would approve any of those things that they say about him? Not at all. Jarrell says, thoughts on House of the Dragon leaks. How does this continue to happen? You know, I'm not sure, Jarrell, because they didn't give it in advance to press like they usually do. They might have given it to a very few members of the press, and somehow it leaked. I know that last season, when the season finale leaked, apparently it came out of France. But I mean, like, most press didn't get it. I didn't get it. And so it's even more shocking that it leaked, and a little frustrating. You're like, well, if it leaked, why didn't you just give it to us? Let's see here. Elise says, Robert Downey Jr. for just 2 movies. What do you mean? I'm not quite sure what you're trying to say there, Elise. Jacob Knight wants to know why Thunderbolts has the asterisk next to it. I'm not quite sure. The asterisk is apparently made out of bullets. Maybe it means like this roster is not final. I mean, it's totally a Suicide Squad ripoff. Let's see here. Sebastian Romero says, do you think a problem with House of the Dragon is that the marketing put Rhaenyra and Alicent facing off like battling queens, which has mostly been untrue? I think the problem with House of the Dragon is the lack of action and forward momentum for the show. I think that's the biggest problem that they've faced. I mean, it has not, for the most part, it has not been Sunday night appointment television. Bye, Terry. And Tenerife points out that it's been a 2-year wait between seasons, and that's always tough. Kareem, I still love House of the Dragon. Liam says, if you ever come visit Australia, we have a Warner Brothers theme park. It's nothing compared to Disney, but it does have DC, Looney Tunes, and a new Wizard of Oz land with a really fun parade. That does sound nice. Hey, Alberto. Cat Check says there's a new offer for Paramount. Well, let me see. We'll discuss it tomorrow. because I need stories for tomorrow's live stream. But let's see who did it. Oh, yeah. Apex Capital. Who the hell is that? I'm getting so tired of this Paramount discussion. Just sell it already. I'm sure that the Ellisons are probably freaking upset about it too. They're like, I thought this deal was closed. We've already been doing interviews about it. Liam says, OMG, just been confirmed that Netflix and Richard Gadd weren't truthful about Martha and baby reindeer, and she was never a convicted criminal. I saw that. I saw that this morning. I think that's not great for them. I think based on a true story is the way to go. James says, do you think there are any billion-dollar movies left this year? Potentially Gladiator, maybe. I'm worried about Joker 2. I would like it to be a billion-dollar picture. But I think that's really, maybe the Mufasa, maybe. Ragu, how could Joe Locke not be Wiccan? You know, what do you think? He's just going to keep playing teen? And don't you think it's weird they didn't give his character a name? If he wasn't Wiccan, they would just give him a name. Dancing Dog 60 says, Major said he'd go back to Marvel if asked. I saw that. Zay says, I'm actually excited to see Snow White despite everything. I still am enchanted by them, and I think Disney is going to take a break from live-action fairy tales. You think they will? I don't know. I'll be curious to see how it looks. I think if it looks really good, I mean, I don't know. I really like going to the movies, so let's see how it looks. '80s Model says, do you think Snow White will be Gal Gadot's last movie? Her career seems to be gone. I think Wonder Woman 1984, she was pretty bad in that. I think her career will never totally go away. I think she's famous enough and well known enough that she'll always be able to get a role here and there. But you know, she and her husband are actually very successful with owning real estate. And I believe they own a hotel in Israel. So they have other things that they can do, and they also have a very large family now that I'm sure they want to focus on. So there are certainly many things that they can do. Oh, that's right, everybody. She's supposed to be coming back for Fast and Furious. Dory says, Grace, who has the best outfits, ensembles, and decorum in House of the Dragon? Team Green or Team Black? That's tough. I think I like the regality of King's Landing and the Red Keep. So that's always very cool. I think both of them could be a little bit better, to be honest with you. All right, just a few more questions. Nor, I would agree that Dany and Cersei were certainly a little bit more iconic. Although I agree with Tenerife also that Alicent doesn't have anything to do. Little Baby Pizza says, did you see the trailer to that movie that looks like a Guardians of the Galaxy ripoff with Kevin Hart? I believe you're talking about Borderlands, which is based on a very famous video game, which I do plan to review next week. Although my review, I couldn't make it to the press screening, so I'll be going to see it like Thursday night, and then I'll review it on Friday. George Harrison, I'm not sure if there will be new Agatha news at D23. Everybody's feeling that it's going to be a focus on Daredevil potentially. David Q says, what do you think of power naps? I'm not a power nap fan because I feel like it's hard for me to get back into my day. Dancing Dog 60 says, speaking of Fantastic Four, why doesn't Vin Diesel do any other roles anymore? At one point, he tried to be a serious actor. I think it really didn't work out. And I think, he has so much money now, he doesn't need to do anything else. And I think he's just focused on doing Fast and Furious franchise. Maybe when that wraps with the next movie, then he might try and look at some other projects. He has those movies where, he's blind, right? Excuse me. Maybe I think he has a deal for maybe doing one more of those. Thank you, Star on a Hill. All right, let me do shout outs. Where are you? What are you doing? Let me say hi to you. Oh, thank you, everybody. Any questions? I already asked questions. Where are you? What are you doing? Let me say hi. Lloyd Lester said, just get back from work. Decompressing. Benji says, watching at work from sunny Seattle. Well, Ohad just saw for the first time 500 Days of Summer. I remember that was a pretty good movie. 80s Model says, I'm editing and watching the live stream. Oh, that's awesome. I love keeping you company while you work. While Dancing Dog 60 is sneaking the live stream at work in Boston. Platinum Diva says, in hot Las Vegas, about to get in my pool. I love it, Platinum Diva. I love it. Sneaky is changing the bed sheets while Cosmix is drinking tea. And Garnet Fire is staying inside and out of the rain in South Dakota. Oh, that's awesome. While Alexander Padilla says, watching you from San Bernardino, looking for a new job. We're rooting for you, Alexander. David Q says, about to take a power nap during my lunch break. I've been up since 5 a.m. Went to the gym early. Oh, that's good for you, David. That's good. You got a good start to your day. Hi, Angela. It's always so nice to see you. Hi to your brother. Let's see here. Oh, Carter James is releasing a song. That's very exciting, Carter. Oh, Mystic is excited for Cape Crusader to drop tonight. I hope you like it. I overall thought it was good. Dan Blaster just saw Deadpool in Bonnie, Scotland. And Ragu says, pizza time in Ireland. Yummy, yum, yum. Well, Daniel Kemp is laying in bed watching the Olympics. And Heather says, hanging out with my... Oh, Carter, you were on The Voice, weren't you? Oh, that's great, Carter. I hope your journey's going really well. Michael Macenas says, is it going to be on Spotify? Heather says, hanging out with my stepmommy in Huntsville, Alabama. Oh, that's so great. You guys get along. And then Warren says, leaving a meeting in Palos Verdes, California, looking for lunch. Ooh, I like it. Oh, I love you too, Platinum Diva. And Ricardo says, about to watch our daily soap opera, EastEnders. Oh, it's funny talking to you guys earlier in the day. You're all up to different stuff. And Travis says, having a late coffee break at home in North Hollywood. I didn't know you were in Hollywood, Travis. That's awesome. Dancing Dog 60 says, see, it's 5:30 for the BTT Inside Access. I love it. I love it. And Dan says, saw Deadpool and Wolverine at AMC Disney Springs. Never again. It took forever to find a parking spot. On a Wednesday, no less? I guess because it's the summer. I love it. All right, everybody. I had a great time with you as always. I will see you tomorrow. Hey, bonjour, Ben 10. You're not going to sleep probably because we're a little earlier. You're probably still just enjoying your evening. But if you're a BTT Inside Access member, I'll see you later today at 5:30 p.m. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow. And I hope that you guys are having a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.